Don't be shy, 'cause life won't bring you down too far.
Andrew McCART, IFL TV, in association with MTK Global. Always delighted to be joined by Mr. Jamie Conlan. Jamie, I've briefly had a chat with you this morning, but I've not had a good chat with you, so how are things on your end?
Everything's all good, just manoeuvring and coping and moving forward, and we're constantly on the go, so it's been very good. We're progressing and we're getting bigger and we're growing, expanding, and I think we've adapted well to this new climate, and we're showing that we're able to survive no matter what.
I'm glad you said that, because this is MTK fight number 3. The last 2 ones have been outstanding, because the fans on Twitter, you're getting a good reaction and stuff like that. So as the Vice President of MTK, you must be delighted with the way the shows have been going so far.
100%. We knew it was a challenge. We set out to put our marker down to make proper, legitimate 50-50 fights that the fans would be happy with. You know, we give our fighters all an opportunity. The fighters that wouldn't be as big as household names as you would get on Sky and BT, but these are the guys that we believe is the next generation coming through. The likes of Lewis Crocker, Gary Cully, and Sean McComb. These were 3 big wins and 3 big names that the first 2 weeks to this week tonight. Is another one that's really putting a statement down to be the proper best card of the year.
Well, let's talk about the 3 fights at the top of the bill. They're Dan Aziz, Andre Sterling. They know each other very well. Same gym, same area. I mean, I don't know if you saw the thing we did with them with Lee in the head-to-head. I mean, that's got all the ingredients for a great fight tonight, hasn't it?
Head-to-head with Lee.
He did well. Lee did well. Did you see what he was like? He was just like a tennis match watching it.
It was like head, belly, head. No, I think on paper this is as evenly matched a card as the UK has produced. It'll go a long way to beat last week's card in terms of action. I thought last week was one of the best cards I've been to. From top to bottom, every fight was competitive. We seen prospects blossom and develop in the proper stars in Lewis Crocker. We seen prospects having mishaps and learning on the job in Gary Cully. Fergus Quinn and James McGivern having 2 fantastic debuts, and then probably one of the British fight of the year, and Liam Taylor and Darren Tetley. So this week, on paper, it looks as good, if not better. But I think stylistically, won't be as fan friendly. But the hardcore fans will really be impressed of what we put on. Like, these are legitimate fights. Philip Bowes against Akeem Brown is a legitimate fight. I'm really excited about Harlem Eubank and Mark McDonough. 2 weeks' notice, both of them took it. So this is a potential for one of them is to really make a name for himself. I've known Harlem from sparring with Michael in the gym and in Adam's gym. So Adam Booth says he's the most improved fighter he's ever had. So let's see if he can do it on the night. But there's some fantastic fights. Dan Aziz as well coming through against Andre Sterling could be a really tasty matchup.
For you, I know you sort of manage fighters as well, and Lee and all them sort of guys. How difficult is it for you to make these 50-50 fights and get the fights made and stuff like that? Is it a bit of a headache for you? Because you have been put on some great fights, but you've put great fights from MTK Fight Night 1, 2 and then now 3. So is it difficult for you to make these fights?
It can be, yeah. I disagree with Lee and Paul Gibson a lot, because they'd be more promotional side and I'd be on the side of the fighter from managerial side. So Paddy McCrory, who I will look after tonight, is in a proper, legitimate 50-50 fight. But at this stage of his career and this stage of his life, this is the kind of fight he needs to progress. He can't really go along fighting any more of the journeyman type. So that was kind of a no-brainer for me that this is the fight. Once we discussed with Paddy and his team and that they were comfortable with it, it was a fight that I was happy to make. But there is a bit of debating. There is a bit of, especially with the younger guys, Fergus Quinn and James McGivern, who I would look after. I know we matched Fergus really tough on his debut. I know a lot of managers were giving us a pat in the back and impressed with Fergus and giving Fergus a pat in the back, but that was a big risk because it was 6-3 guy, very tough, a lot bigger, and to go in a year and a half out of the ring both of them, him and James, both a year and a half out of the ring, but we were trying to match them tough and make a statement. That was a bit more of a, not a headache, but a worry. I knew he would be okay, but it was, you were worrying because you were going, have a leap rather than a step here. Is he at this level? Does he need more time maturing? Because with every young pro at the start of their career, they all develop differently. Some need to be babied along, some need to be baby steps, some can just go straight into the deep end. But yeah, it's been a bit tough. It's been a bit tough from a managerial side, and internally we've had to, because we are divided, where there is a promotional side of MDK and there is a managerial side, and someone always has to represent the fighter, and that's my position to do so. So there has been a lot of arguments and a lot of phone calls ended abruptly.
Well, that's it. You're an ex-fighter yourself, so surely you, more than anyone, knows what fighters are going through in terms of the managerial side of things, being an ex-fighter. But I know we're short of time there because I know the golden contract draw is going to be happening in an hour. I want to try and get this video out beforehand. So a quick word on the draw tonight. The light heavyweight draws are getting made in an hour's time. Golden contract, end of the month. You must be excited for all this finally coming together now.
I am, especially for Tyrone McKenna and O'Hara Davis and Jazza and Ryan Welch, because I think they're as intriguing fights you can get in British boxing. But the light heavies have been hard done by. You know, they were the last casualties of this whole pandemic. They were the ones that was fight week, and I think we were on the Tuesday or the Wednesday before the show got called off on the Friday night. So yeah, for them, and they've been waiting a long time to get going. You know, we split. We've had to adjust and adapt to the current climate and current situation that we're all going through, and had to go one show in Latvia and one show in here. So it's good. God help anyone who has to go up to Latvia, but it has an added intrigue, an added space. You know, someone is actually going to have to travel instead of people all coming here. So it's good that we have it on two separate nights, and adds just another added space to the whole lot.
Definitely, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Finally, New York. We've seen last week that MTK announced that you've linked up with Havoc with Andre Rozier out in New York. I mean, Andre's inside that New York sort of fight scene. He's a big name out there. So again, what a massive tick in the box for MTK.
Definitely, I think it set down a lot within the team, and one of the big things I wanted to do during lockdown and during this whole pandemic, when we couldn't put shows on, was to expand. And it was a task set up from myself and the rest of the team to expand in the US, to start something. We did start with Miami, but I've been speaking with Andre since the very first week of lockdown, maybe second day that we all got the news that we had to stay indoors. That was kind of, we started talking about trying to put something together in place, and how it would work out and how everything would manoeuvre and go forward. And you know, there was a lot of ins and outs to it, and I'm just off the phone with him as we're entered here now about starting to get the ball rolling with different fighters and placing them in different builds and trying to navigate their careers now in the US. So it's a big move. It's something that's been a long time coming. You know, New York, people see us as the capital of the world, and if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. So if we
what's that song? Is that?
I think it's Frank Sinatra, isn't it? That's right. So it's something that we've, you know, all deserved a bit of a pat in the back on. But Andre's a fantastic guy, trainer of 8 world champions, but an all-round good guy. You know, anyone who meets him can speak very highly of him. He's well respected in boxing. Both his knowledge that he brings to the table in terms of training, in terms of how he's been involved in these big fighters, the likes of Danny Jacobs, Sergey. This is kind of needed, another element that we have, and it's fantastic to have him as a partner going forward. New York will be a big base that we'll have, and you know, this is only the start. This is only the start, baby.
There we go. I like it. Finally, before I let you go, because I know you're a busy man, we're almost at showtime. Quick word on Mick and Carl Frampton. Great wins for them last time out, a couple of weeks back. Is it safe to say world title shot next for Carl, and maybe on the brink for Carl, Mick going forward? Yeah,
well, Jamal Herring fights on Saturday. We will sit down. I'll sit down with Carl Moretti as soon as that fight's over, and let's see what date and everything goes forward with Carl and Jamal Herring. I thought it was a good performance. You know, it was a main. Frampton needs to know 8 to 10 weeks out before that, even who he's fighting, his mind needs to be on the job. He's that stage in his career where, he's done all them journeyman fights and all these fights where you don't know you're fighting, so he has to have the preparation. And the constant change, I know, was getting to him, and I was slightly worried he might have took his eye off the ball, but he didn't. He got in, he got the rounds done. He manoeuvred through the gears, so it was a good workout. I thought with Mick, I thought it was a career best performance. I was very happy to see what he's been doing in the gym actually transpiring to the ring. I thought now the low blows, then having to adjust during the fight and not throw body shots no more, and then when Soufiane Takush seen the light at the end of the tunnel and was nearly getting out of there in survival mode, Mick was able to turn it on again and get him out of there. It's a big statement. To do it so late is an even bigger statement, and very happy. He's thereabouts now to fight for a world title. He'll fight again before the end of the year, and then possibly some Paddy's Day.
Super bantamweight?
Super bantamweight. Yep. He could have made super bantamweight last week at August 15th. I think he was 124, £2 over super bantamweight, and then
that's scary to think he's a big boy, isn't he, to get down to super bantamweight.
Well, he should have always been a super bantamweight. At the start of his career, he was a super bantamweight and he was making it pretty easy, but he had to fight 6 times a year, every 2 months. That was what we had contracted to at the very start, and then to hold the weight for constant. You were constantly in camp. He was in LA, and it was very hard to hold the weight a year round. So he's now in there, feeling good. Nutritious is on board. In camp, he looked phenomenal. I gotta be honest, he looked phenomenal. I'm just happy now that it's transpired. He's able to show it in the ring, all the different dimensions. We knew he was going to blast him out like Warrington, and I was made sure to make to stay out before it. Stage make fights. The crowd made the atmosphere different. Soufiane reacted different because of the crowd and Leeds that night. He had he had a point to prove, a chip on his shoulder to make sure that his own ego was on the line there. He got blown out by Warrington. He had to give it everything that this young buck, this upstart, can't do the same. So I was very impressed, very pleased, and I'm glad he got the knockout or TKO in the end.
Quick word on Josh Taylor fighting at the end of the month. He's finally got his mandatory against Kong Song. BT Studios, end of the month. Quick word on Josh.
A potential banana skin. With everything going on, I think it's good though that the fight has been pushed back to this, because new trainer, how everything is changing. His whole boxing development is all now changed now with Ben. Very happy that they've had added time to get used to each other, to get familiar with the surroundings, to get familiar with the sparring, to get familiar with each other. So it's good to see the progression. People are talking very highly of them working together in camp, and I'm looking forward to seeing it on fight night. He can't get too distracted with whatever Jose Ramirez is doing or Jack Catterall is doing or what's going on with the belts there. This is a dangerous live opponent, a big punching Thai fighter. I think he's coming in next week. Speaking with Moretti, but they're coming in early. They're coming in confident. Josh has to be ready. He's used to fighting in front of the big atmosphere, so he has to. But he's also used to fighting in front of the smaller atmosphere, being a highly elite amateur. He must use that and remember them days, because it is strange. It is strange from moving from the big crowds to next to nothing. So I'm excited to see it. I do believe he is the best 140-pounder in the world, and he'll prove that on September.
Definitely. Well, Jim, I won't keep you much longer. I know it's almost showtime. There's Harlem right there. Almost showtime. I know the draw's going to happen soon, so you better get ready. Thanks again for doing SciFi TV, and it's good to see you, my mate.
You too, Andy. Good to see you, mate.
Cheers, Jimmy.
Don't be shy, 'cause life won't bring you down too far.